is good time. Hello. First of all, I need to check if everything is okay with sound and with voice. Please confirm. Sound is clear. Okay. So video also okay. So good. The sound seems good here. Okay, so French defense between Tallinn and Nizhmetdinov, I have considered it in previous videos, so you can find it in my channel on YouTube or in Twitch. So I do it previous time. So I see that there are spectators from many countries. Very nice. Thanks a lot for supporting my channel. And because already there are many people, I want to say that I am planning to play charity match against young Krzysztof Duda in 20 of July, day of chess. It will be in French side, Europe Czech. Games will start approximately at 5 p.m. European time, Paris time, 5 p.m. So it will be charity match. If somebody can donate for help Ukraine, please do it. It's only humanitarian help. It's online match in Europe Czech. I will be at home. So if somebody can support Ukraine for humanitarian way, please do it. It will be 8 games, 4 rapid games, 10 plus 5, and 4 blitz games, 3 plus 2. So if somebody can support this action, please do it. Тепер ще скажу це українською мовою для тих, хто слухає, може, з України, що 20 липня, в День шахів, планується благодійний матч. Я гратиму з Дудою на французькому сайті europechech.com. І всі кошти підуть у фонд Help Ukraine на гуманітарну допомогу Україні. Тому хто бажає підтримати цю акцію, хто може це зробити, будь ласка, це зробіть. I explain. By donation, it's possible to support in the site Europe Czech. French platform. Okay, so let's start to see last 2 games between Rashid and Mikhail. 4 c5, knight f3, e6. I have this book, so here about Rashid Nizhmetdinov. Here there are very short annotation, but okay. Just knight c3, queen c7. Power set system. And now white has many possibilities. Bishop d3, it's the most popular line at the moment, of course, other possibilities. Bishop e2 is possible. G4 is even possible. Many moves are possible. If g3, for example, bishop b4 is good for black. And now knight is attacked, so white should defend. There are two possibilities. Bishop d2 is possible, or knight e2 is possible. If knight e2, black simply can play knight f6, and after bishop g2, bishop e7, with intention to play hedgehog system. So d6 will be next move. If bishop d2, knight f6, pawn is attacked. If bishop g2, knight c6. Knight takes c6, d takes c6, and this position is equal according to theory. Caruana against Rapport g4 a little bit in different position. It was here g4. It's not the same. Okay, it can be transposition, but if black plays queen c7, but it's not the same. So bishop d3. Also, I can add that after g3, important to start with bishop b4, because if start with knight f6, bishop g2, if now bishop b4, white can play castle, because for black is very risky to take on c3 now. White has much more active possibilities than after bishop d2 or knight d2. So important to start bishop b4 immediately, because now white cannot ignore a bishop takes c3, because after, for example, bishop g2, black just winning material. Maybe also white has idea this. And c3. Maybe white is not losing, but difficult to believe that this is possible. Idea to play castle, to catch queen somehow. Okay, black can try queen b1, this idea, b6, if knight b3, knight f6 probably. And doesn't look promising for white, because after castle, knight takes e4 is coming. f3 also doesn't work, because d5, castle, d takes e4, and black has d3 square for his queen. So it looks like bishop d2 is not enough. Okay, so bishop d3 played Rashid. Knight c6, not necessary, black has choice now. For example, knight f6 is very popular line, and bishop c5 now. And after knight b3, black has choice. Bishop a7 is possible, or bishop e7 is possible. If bishop e7, white can play f4, if d6, e5. This. If queen takes e5, bishop f4, queen h5. This is the idea. And white has excellent compensation for the sacrificed pawn. Okay, knight c6, normal move. Bishop e3. Another possibility is just take on c6. After b takes c6, play castle, or play queen e2, which was played firstly in game Kramnik against Timman, then in game in my game against Sergei Karyakin. So I played bishop b7 here with black to prepare d5. Immediately d5 is not possible, of course, because white just taken twice and winning the pawn. Queen a5, knight c3 doesn't work. Okay, after queen a5, even bishop d2 is possible, and bishop e4 is coming. Well, so bishop b7. Now if castle, black is prepared to play d5, is normal position. So Sergei Karyakin played e5, c5, castle, castle, d5, e takes d6, bishop takes d6. It was interesting game, ended with draw. But after castle, knight f6 is main move. Idea to prepare d5. Also, if rook e1, for example, black has also this option, because now f4 is not possible. Okay, so knight takes c6 is another possibility. Bishop e3 played Rashid. Knight f6 played Tal. Also possible b5 here. It's another line. Knight f6, castle. Again, black has choice. So knight e5 played Tal. Other possibilities for black is bishop d6 or, sorry, bishop d6 is possible, or b5 is possible as well. Also h5 is possible. For example, a great expert of Taimanov system, Igor Miladinovich from Serbia, likes to play h5 and only after h3, b5. Both sides are fighting for dark squares. Okay, maybe, but sometimes also whites can be important. So I never have seen such a conclusion about Taimanov system. Well, so after bishop d6, white has many moves. Of course, knight takes c6 is possible here. Also, there is idea f4. Good morning, thank you. But in Ukraine, in Lviv, there is 10 p.m. now. So it's not morning at all, but probably you are from United States or somewhere. I don't know where is morning. So for you, it's morning. F4 is idea if knight takes d4, e5. And if bishop takes e5, f takes e5, queen takes e5, queen d2. And white has more than enough compensation for the two sacrificed pawn in this position. And if, for example, bishop c5, also possible, knight f5. This is idea. Other moves are not so good. For example, if to play bishop e2, queen b6 is very strong. And after knight a4, bishop takes d4, knight takes b6, bishop takes e3, king h1, bishop takes b6. In this position, three pieces are much stronger than white queen. And also bad e5 here because of knight takes e5. And f takes e5, queen takes e5, and white is losing material. So after bishop c5, only move is knight f5. Knight f5, this is theory. Okay, bishop e3, knight takes e3, d6, more or less normal position. White is slightly better. Thanks for subscription and thanks for support my channel. Доброго вечора. Бажаю вам мирного неба над головою і взагалі всього найкращого, що можу побажати. Also, black can try to win the piece, for example, to play knight e7 here, but after knight g7, king f8, bishop takes c5, queen takes c5, king h1, king takes g7, e5, knight e4 is coming, and white has very, very dangerous attacks, objectively, even more than enough compensation for sacrificing piece. This is the secret. Okay, so knight e5, h3. White has another option, knight f3, for example, played Magnus Carlsen and against me, but there is no advantage for white after knight eg4 and after bishop d2, d6. I played this. It was my game against Magnus. My first game against Magnus. Which ended with draw. So h3, b5, another theoretical line is bishop c5 here, and white has choice. King h1 is the most popular line in this position. At least king h1 was choice of Garry Kasparov to prepare f4. Okay, b5, f4, knight c4, queen b3, d5 played time. It's possible, of course. After the natural move bishop b7, there is problem with a4, and white is attacking queen's flank. So d5 played tal. E takes d5. According to modern theory, or according to my knowledge, the best is e5, and after e5, white is slightly better. French structure. Structure typical for French defense. After knight d7, many moves is possible. b3 even possible to play. Also possible knight c2 to consider. Okay, this is different structure. So e5 is stronger move objectively, at least according to modern theory. So e takes d5 looks like dubious a little bit. But Rashid played this, probably he didn't like to play close position in style of French defense. So he took on d5. Sorry, any place on b5 for white? I don't know. I don't understand your question. What you mean, any place on b5 for white? What is this? So Tal took on d3. C takes d3, b4, of course. Knight e4, more or less forced. Knight takes d5, bishop d2. Any tactical shoots? No, I don't think so, that white can take on b5 somewhere. Okay, there are variation where when white is taking on b5, for example, after bishop c5, king h1, d6, f4, knight d7, queen e1, something like this. And if b5, white has idea to play b4, and somewhere knight takes b5, it's possible. Or another recommendation was queen f3. Evgeny Vladimirov recommended this idea. And after b5, bishop takes b5 was idea of Evgeny Vladimirov. Thanks a lot for subscription. After this, knight takes b5, and after bishop takes c5 is coming, and e5, and white has very strong attack. So this was idea of Vladimirov. Yes, thanks a lot for everybody who wants to support my channel. Okay, but after b5, f4, knight c4, this, queen d3, d5. If e5 was strong, e takes d5, dubious, and now it's more or less obvious that black has totally comfortable game, because they have two bishops pair, and knight on d5 is very strong. But well, white has advantage of development. So at the moment, development of pieces is better for white. So black king in the center. So because of this, black needs to play accurately. But in my opinion, it wasn't a special problem for black here. According to annotation of Nishmedinov, he considered f5, knight g5, bishop c5, knight f3, and evaluated this position like approximately equal. Because of this, he offered a draw after bishop d2. But okay, in my opinion, very cool idea for black here is just to play f6, and after rook c1 just play king f7. Black has quite comfortable position. Next move can be bishop d7, bishop e7, something like this. So black has solid position, and for black it's important not allow any tactics in this position. Positionally, black are very good. So I like idea f6, king f7, because king is safe on f7, bishop will be good on d7, black has no weakness, so I like f6. But Tal decided to play a5. Yes, but Tal played a5, so he doesn't want to make any prophylactic moves. For example, f6 is more in style of Tigran Petrosyan. So just if he sees that he has long-term positional trumps, it's important to play accurately and not avoid any tactics. a5, Tal is trying to create some threats immediately, so he wants to play bishop a6, attack d3, but okay. After bishop a6, e6 pawn will be less defended, and after a5, somewhere white knight can jump to b5. So rook a0. Even here was possible to come back to f6, in my opinion. It was pretty logical again to prepare king f7. But if play f6, it's more logical king f7. I'm fine, thank you. But even here, I don't see special problem for black because there are no special weakness. Only important is to keep bishop on c8 to protect firmly e6 pawn. And f7 is good square for the king. But Tal played bishop a6 very aggressively, so probably he thought that Nishmetino will defend the pawn with rook f3, and now I don't know, maybe bishop b7. Black can try, maybe something else. Maybe even bishop e7, of course. If knight c6, now bishop b5. I don't know. Probably Tal expected rook f3 and planned something to play. Maybe even rook c8 is possible. Black has a wide choice. Gata Kamsky lost endgame. I didn't see game of Gata Kamsky. Against whom he played in Bill. I have seen he won against Lek Van Gliem in first. Saled. Against Salim. Okay, I will see, but at the moment I didn't see. Okay, but Rashid decided rook f1, so he is ready to give the pawn and start attack. So idea is more or less obvious. So after bishop takes d3, he wants to play f5 and try to attack black king. Okay, so okay, so I will write for myself. Salim Kamsky, we can consider later. Salim Kamsky. Bill. Yes, so this is really dangerous for black because if e5, for example, knight c5 is unpleasant, or even knight f2, and white has many threats, so g6 is logical decision. f5 played Rashid. He's trying to attack. Of course, other possibilities was possible as well. For example, knight c5 was possible. This idea knight takes e6 with bishop g7, something like this. a6, but this endgame, it's very unclear. White will have extra pawn, but black can take on b2, and a and b pawn can be dangerous, so I'm not sure that white is better here. Okay, so f5 played Rashid, bishop g7 played Tal. This is a very risky choice. I don't see any special problem for black after, for example, g takes f5. Simple. After knight takes f5. Yes, bishop c5 and castle is possible, yes, but it's solid, that's true, but only question if black can play for win in this position, for example, after this. Looks like drawish, more or less. Maybe even after rook a1. White has idea knight c6 somewhere or a3, so it looks like drawish. So bishop g7 is more ambitious line for black, but maybe more risky as well. So, but okay, f5, bishop g7. Now it's important moment. So g takes f5 looks very natural. Surely knight takes f5 was prepared because, okay, knight c5 is possible, but I'm not sure that white has enough compensation. Black has many options. Even simply bishop g7 is possible. This idea, if knight takes f5, take on b2. Okay, so knight takes f5 is natural move, but for example, king d7. And position looks like totally fine for black. Well, knight c5 probably, bishop takes c5, rook takes c5. If bishop takes d3, knight e3. Bishop takes d3 here, you mean? Also possible. But yes, it's maybe even stronger. Because if knight d6, any knight, black can just take and play king e7. And they have pawn up. And okay, white has chances to draw, of course. For example, we can consider this. But if this knight, maybe also king d7 is possible. Probably another knight is better, because now even this is possible. If knight takes f7, bishop takes f5, knight takes bishop g7, knight f7, bishop takes b2, knight e5 also, king e8, complicated endgame. But okay, so maybe more simple to take, and king e7, yes, it's possible. Knight b7 maybe, white has some compensation probably. But it's for sure white can fight only for draw here. So rook c8, for example, is possible. With idea if rook takes, if knight takes a5, rook c2. So yes, it was totally possible. So bishop takes d3 is also a good move, and black has. Ну, я би не сказав, що так же ризиковано грають чорні, тому що гірше то вони не стоять поки що. Що от справді ризиковано вони зіграли, коли вже пішли слоном на G7. От там вже почався ризик. А тут, в принципі, ну, у білих є компенсація за пішака, але так нічого страшного я не бачу, тому що ферзів на дошці немає, кінь на d5 стоїть як скала, так що, в принципі, ще допустиму зону ризику чорні не перейшли. I explained it in Ukrainian language. It was question that why black is playing so risky. I explained it. Okay, it's totally playable because objectively black are not walls here. So white has some compensation, but more likely that it is white who is fighting for draw here. If consider that both players will play precisely. But Tal played bishop g7 and now f6. Very concrete. Move. So black can take pawn, but and Tal took it, but I don't know what was correct solution. Maybe even bishop f8 was logical. Come back with bishop and try to keep this position close. If knight c5, for example, black can take probably. Okay, it's a little bit unpleasant because knight takes e6 is threat. Knight d takes e6. Okay, it's not threat at the moment, but what to do? For example, if just take, rook takes c5, if king d7, knight f3 is unpleasant, and knight e5 is coming. Okay, maybe it's black can defend somehow, but it's pretty unpleasant. Even such ideas is possible. It can be dangerous for black. So after if take with bishop, it's also there are some tactical problems. Okay, let's see. Knight takes. I don't know if knight takes e6 immediately. Knight takes e6 takes. Knight takes e6 immediately possible if takes king f7, rook c6. White will take the piece back and even they have winning chances. So bishop g7 looks like probably this was mistake of Tal. So after g takes f5, black is completely okay. But now after f6, white has very unpleasant initiative. Okay, probably black can try to defend accurately, for example, this after knight c5, bishop c8, but of course it's not easy to play by such a way. Also, f6 pawn is hanging, so white has no direct win. Black is ready to consolidate position with bishop d7. So maybe it's possible. Maybe it's bad. Maybe rook e5 is possible, for example, this idea rook takes d5 and rook e1. I'm fine, thank you. And if knight takes f6, knight b5 is coming, so white has some threats which are not so pleasant for black. Maybe it's not so terrible because rook b8, and bishop g5, bishop e7, who knows. But okay, of course it's not easy to play bishop g7 and bishop f8, so Tal took on f6. Knight d6 split, Neshmentino. King e7 and he took his starting attack. Black necessary to take, or maybe not necessary. Maybe knight d5 is possible, but okay, if play knight d5, white can play at least knight e5 and bishop g5 is coming, so material is equal, but of course white has some unpleasant threats. Also, probably black can defend this position with accurate play, for example, rook e8 to prepare king f8. Rook c6 maybe, okay. Maybe bishop c8. Of course, white has initiative, but still not so easy to demonstrate something really concrete. But okay, Tal took the piece, rook c7, knight e6, and now it's easy that situation is difficult for black because rook h8 is not playing and all white pieces are very strong. Knight e8, rook d7, bishop f6. Bishop f6. According to book, bishop f6 was mistake. So Bishop b5 they recommend to play, which looks very logical, and according to the book, rook b7, bishop a6, rook d7, bishop b5, and draw by perpetual of moves. This was the most logical result. Maybe this is true. Black has extra piece and can try to consolidate his position. Also, well, white can try something else, maybe rook b6, if bishop d5, just take on g7, for example. If take with king, rook e7 is coming. If takes with knight, also rook e7 probably, so white has compensation. But h5 not possible because rook takes g6, so still tricky position. Black has extra piece, but white has some kind of domination. But Tal played bishop f6, and it was a terrible blunder. And after rook f1, smart move. So position is totally hopeless for black because there is no defense against rook takes f6 and rook g7 mate, for example. If bishop c8 is this g7, or if bishop takes d7, rook f8 mate. So, okay, such a mistake, it's very difficult to explain why Tal played bishop f6. It wasn't so difficult to see such a motive. But okay, even geniuses sometimes making primitive mistake. So, rook f1, maybe time trouble. Move 29, okay, maybe, but Tal was very young, and time trouble in that age wasn't typical for him in this period. So probably I think some miscalculation. So yes, bishop b5. Okay, another question: why not take on b2 if he wanted to play for win, for example? So, because now rook f1 is possible, but not winning. No, I didn't play with Tal. Okay, so bishop takes b2. Rook f1 looks like logical, but after rook f1, no, but how to win? Knight g7? No, direct may. Knight c7. Oh, but okay, this position's okay. Maybe white is better, but for example, rook c8, knight takes a6. Maybe white is better because black has still problem with his rook. But okay, h5. Is it totally clear? No. Rook f7 also. If king h7, d4 is coming. Yes, white has. Bishop takes b2, d4 immediately. It's possible. It's possible. And now I cannot play bishop c8 because rook f1. Although I have motive bishop c8, if rook f1, I have bishop takes d4 check. But just king h1 probably, and black cannot defend against mate. It's just a mate. Here after knight g7. Was idea knight g7, knight takes g7. Here and rook f7. Yes, it's possible as well. Maybe strong. Ah, but bishop d4 check I have. Sorry. So it's not convincing. Probably knight c7. But okay, so after bishop b5, okay, it's playable position. I am not sure that Rashid would make draw. Probably he planned to play rook b7, bishop a6, rook b6. It's unclear, but interesting. Bishop takes b2 may be possible. Ah, bishop takes b2 again, rook. Rook on b6. So here white has no knight c7 because bishop d. Okay, so probably the best for white is to make draw. Who knows? But okay, so Tal played bishop f6. It was mistake, and after rook f1, game is finished. Terrible blunder. Knight g7. Rook f6. This position is totally losing. White has pawn up, 2 pawns up. Okay, now everything is winning. What did Rashid was not only, but it was enough. Dali resided. Okay, and one more game for today. Last game between Nizhmedinov and Tal, and another sharp Sicilian. So, Scheveningen variation. Bishop e2. Quiet line. The sharpest line here is g4. Or bishop e3 English attack also. Yes, very nice victory. Okay, but bishop e2, modest line played Rashid. After a6, played castle, queen c7. More popular move over here is bishop e7. For example, Harry Kasparov against Anatoly Karpov always played bishop at e7 and after f4 castle, and only then decide what to do with queen. After bishop e3, queen c7. Or after king h1, queen c7 as well. a4, knight c6, bishop e3, rook e8. Many games between Kasparov and Karpov and many other players. But queen c7 played Tal, so he is not hurry with development of pieces in king's flank. And Nizhmedinov immediately played f4. And after knight bd7, bishop e7 is reasonable alternative here, of course. More flexible because black has idea also to play knight c6 somewhere. So g4 is possible even here. My games, you mean from today? You mean you want to have PGN from this video, or what you mean? PGN file, or if you want just text of this game, it's easy. You can find in mega database, big database, so in chessgames.com. So all games. Nizhmedinov and Tal. Okay, you can find anywhere. So you can, for example, chessgames.com. You can find the games between Nizhmedinov and Tal. Or any database, mega database, big database. So g4 is possible. If h6, for example, g5, this is interesting trick, d5. demonstrates that black has contraplay here. If bishop f4, bishop d. Against Taimano. Depends what you want against Taimano. 6. Also depends on move order. So, for example, if you are playing with white, to play and want to avoid playing Taimano at all, you can play here bishop b5 or Salim. After e6, you can play something without g or b3. Many possibilities. Or c3, a lapping system. But okay, if you are playing already uh, this system, okay, many possibilities. Yes, quite promising line. After a6, queen d2. Also, queen f3 is very popular line. Bishop d3 is also interesting line, and castle short. So it's of taste. I don't know what to recommend you, because I don't know what type of position you like to play. Who is the greatest player? Maybe Capablanca, but it's a very difficult question. Against London with black, I think this system is very interesting. At least I played with black. And if knight f6, g6, it's like ready opening, or queen's pawn opening. And if white plays knight c3, black has c6, or queen a5 is quite playable position. If you like side castle, so bishop e3, queen d2, or bishop e3, queen f3, I recommend to play against Taimano. Well, so bishop e2, f4. So bishop e7, it's more flexible here than knight bd7, in my opinion. Of course, white can play without g4. For example, a4, knight c6, bishop e3, castle, king h1. It's classical position. But okay, knight bd7 played Tal, and Rashid immediately starts attack g4. So disadvantage of knight bd7 that if white plays g5 in some moment, knight has no good square d7 for go back. So black needs to do something. Tal played b5. Another possibility probably was h6 with idea if g5 takes, and d5. Same idea like in previous line. Of course, g5 is not only move for white. White can do something else. For example, bishop f3. It's like possible. But after bishop f3, black has this typical idea. For example, this after bishop g5, bishop e7, and then knight e5 is coming some compensation. I don't know is it enough or not, but it's quite typical idea. In many variations exist. For example, Cheparinov played something like this, but it was different move order. Knight c3, a6, bishop e2, e6, bishop e3, knight bd7, and after g4 he played h6. And after f4 he played g5, this idea. Takes, bishop takes g5, b5, and then bishop b7. Black has quite good compensation. So pawn sacrifice for e5 square for the knight. Yes. Of course, Bobby Fischer was very strong too. Psychological style like tile. I don't know if a style of tile was psychological game. I don't know who is similar to tile. Maybe Shirov somehow. Okay, it's possible to castle about an last question where to castle. It's possible to castle queen side, short castle or long castle, but it's matter of taste. It's not possible to say that some of this is better, some of this is worse. Well, let's come back. So after g4, h6 was possible. If g5 takes d5. B5 was played. B5 tile played. And now looks like after g5 he prepared to play b4. Yes. Probably this is good for black. Because knight can not go somewhere because e4. Ну, я кажу, що на g4, так, він пішов в b5, це було в партії, так. Rashid played a3 calmly and again black can consider h6 with same idea if g5 takes and d5. Yes, it's similar to neither, yes. Tal played bishop b7. Again, like in previous game, he doesn't want to have bishop on c8. But because of this, in some variation, e6 pawn can be weaker. What I'm thinking about Alexander Wojtkiewicz, okay, I met him, I never played him, and I cannot tell that I'm good familiar with his games. Okay, I know that he was excellent coach. For example, Kamil Miton was his probably best student of Wojtkiewicz. Now Kamil Miton is a coach of young Krzysztof Duda. Also, I know that Wojtkiewicz had some ideas in opening, especially in Najdorf with black or in Catalan with white. But about his style, okay, I'm not well familiar with his games. Okay, so bishop b7 played Tal, bishop f3. Again, same story, I mean, about h6, so h6 can be considered if g5 takes d5. But of course, white has no obligation to play g5 immediately. White can do something else, for example, queen e2, like looks like a natural move to prepare e5 probably. Position is complicated, even g5 somewhere pawn sacrifice can be considered. Knight c5 played Tal. He's attacking the pawn. Queen e2. Middle age of Renaissance. What is this? Who could you be in middle age of Renaissance? I don't understand idea of this question. Who? Middle age. Nepo or Magnus, difficult to say, but I have no information where and when they will play, in which format. E5, okay, somewhere E5 is threat. I mean, for white, somewhere probably not, but here white simply prepared to play G5. H6 is possible, but after H6, white can even play B4 maybe. Knight D7, bishop B2 to develop pieces harmonically. So E5 looks quite dubious because development is better for white, and so I don't like black position at all. So white has many attacking possibilities. For example, even knight d5 looks like very good here. So for my first impression that Tal just playing very bad opening in this game. So maybe he should play h6 before, because now if e5, okay, now before and bishop b2. So after e5, but after e5 it's totally clear that white is much better because development is better. F5 square is weak, d5 square is weak, king on the center. So very very strange strategy of Tal. I mean in opening. Yes, maybe Nizhmedinov was tough opponent for Tal, but in all of 4 games, Nizhmedinov played with white. It's also important. And interesting to know, I recommend to everybody to see games between Tal and Lutikov. So they played many games, about 20 games between each other. The score was something like +4 in favor of Lutikov. And and it was the best chess period in chess in life of Tal. So Lutikov was very tough opponent for him. Although Anatoly Lutikov wasn't so famous, even like Nizhmedinov, but Tal had a big problem against him. So this position is clearly better for white. So Nizhmedinov played knight f5, but also knight d5 looks very nice for me. Black should take with somebody. Okay, if bishop takes, e takes d5, knight c6 is coming. Okay, if knight takes, e takes d5, again, very unpleasant position for black. About Lutico, okay, I can think about this Lutico. Interesting that Lutico was okay. Korchnoi is very famous, and Korchnoi wasn't objectively worse played than Tal, but Nizhmedinov and Lutikov had no such successes as Tal. So interesting to see. Disaster result against Averbach. Nizhmedinov had a disaster result against Averbach, right? I don't know this. Okay, I will check. You mean Nizhmedinov against Averbach? If I correctly. Yes, okay. Before was question, but c4 square, yes, that's true. But it was questioned here about if h6 before knight d7. But okay, of course, c4 square is weak, but white has initiative, and this is possible to consider. This, and bishop e7, knight f5 is coming, and then rook e1. So, or just play bishop b2 if knight b6 to utilize same idea as possible. Black has problem with development. Also e5 is also necessary to check. So okay, before can be risky somehow, but aha, 3-1 for Yuri. Okay, I will check. Авербах Нижмеддинов. Okay. Rubinstein games, okay, I can choose some games of Rubinstein. Have I ever met Lutikov? No, I never met him, unfortunately. Okay, so Nishmedinov, Averbach, I don't remember any game, but I will check and probably I will prepare something. Well, so knight f5 was choice, not obvious. Even after knight b3, white is clearly better in my opinion. Bullets, no. Because, okay, g5 is coming, d5 square is weak, and white has better development. In past, okay, I played my game against Kasparov 2002. From 2002, I never played against Kasparov. Nijmedinov. Something. Okay, 8. It's too much. Probably Averbach. Okay, maybe, but from encyclopedia now I'm not reading from any book. I'm just consider game. Цілком можливо. Так. Можливо, що Таль міг собі. Ну, Таль не тільки з Лутіковим, взагалі любив поекспериментувати і грати ризиковано. Може, з Лутіком також грав в тому стилі. І з Ніжмедіновим, як бачимо, теж. Окей. Okay, at least I will check games between Averbach and Nishmedinov. And then I will explain my conclusion about it. Okay, but knight f5, also natural move. g6. Takes. Oh, of course, white has choice in each move. Knight e3 looks like logical. If e takes f4, knight d5 is coming, which is pretty unpleasant for black, but okay. Nijmedinov decide to have knight on h6. Another possible choice. And what to do for black? Tal played knight e6. I don't know if it's correct idea or not, and what are alternate g8 can be considered like alternative. But after knight g8, white can just take probably and play knight d5. And after bishop takes d5, e takes d5, white is better because knight e3, knight e4. Which knight f e4 is losing because knight d5. So probably it's better knight c takes e4. Maybe this is not losing. Knight c takes, yes, knight c takes e4 is possible. And white cannot win. Yes, black took the pawn, and yes, probably you are right. Yes, knight e3 is not a good idea because knight c takes e4. Looks like that is true. For sure. So, okay, anyway, g5 knight takes c3 now. But maybe knight takes e4 is possible. Yeah. Black cannot play with bishop because now g5 is really unpleasant. Знову без рокіровки, це правда. You mean g5? Okay, knight c3, b takes c3. I will not take on c3, so I will play probably knight d7 simply. And black has pawn up and more or less solid position. Yes, but my idea take with knight, and if bishop takes, g5 is unpleasant. If knight takes, my idea is just to take, and if, for example, d takes, e5, queen g2 is pretty unpleasant because knight d6 is more or less forced on knight c5. Okay, if knight c5, knight d5 is coming. If knight d6, maybe also knight d5, or just take and then knight d5, white has compensation. Okay, so knight e3 was possible, but not. Of course, also here, maybe after f takes e5, black has no obligation to take back. Maybe some other moves is possible. But if d5, knight takes d5. Also, what is this? If knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, this black has check. This is unpleasant. And then not clear what to do if king g2, queen takes e5. So d5 may be possible. And black is ready for bishop c5. Yes, so okay, maybe knight e3 is dubious, maybe you are right. But knight d5 was nice, and knight b3 was nice. Looks like modest, but g5 is coming, and d5 square is very weak, so white has certainly much better position, even after modest knight b3. But okay, so this knight e6. Don't know if it's the best solution, but what to recommend? So white has unpleasant pressure against f7 pawn. Bishop g2 is coming. So knight e6 played tile. Probably there are some recommendations in the book. I will check. Now I am reading this book, not encyclopedia. After knight f5. Yes, h6. They recommend to play in the book Nishmedinov, yes. About Nishmedinov. They recommend, they considered many interesting variation. Okay, so I think it's worthy to read it. So knight c5, h6, yes. Queen e2, they consider it. Knight b6, g5, f takes g5, h takes g5. And now important that pawn h2 is protected now. Black has no idea d5 and mate on h2. So knight fd7, g6. According to the book, position is sharp. Surely position is sharp, but who is better? I don't know. For example, knight e5, g takes f7, queen takes f7. Bishop g2, for example. If queen g6, knight takes b5 is coming. But situation is still totally unclear. Not necessary to take. Black can play long castle or rook c8 is also possible. Totally unclear position. Probably white king is even weaker than black one. But also there is a recommendation to play e5 here with two exclamation mark. Very strange. e5. Very strange that two exclamation mark for e5 and knight d2 they are considered, but why knight d2? Why not knight b3? So they are considering knight d2 only. But very strange that e5 two exclamation marks, so strong moves. Okay, I don't believe. Okay, knight d2. I don't know why not knight b3. Okay, it looks like totally possible move, and knight f5 is possible as well. Okay, knight f5 g6 and any books? Yes, some books for beginners. Yes, he wrote some books. Yes, not a lot. One idea is. I understand what they mean. That after knight f5 g6, white has no idea takes on e5 and to play knight h6 because black can take with knight on e5. But okay. But after knight b3, I think white is just better because development is better. g5 is concrete threat, so black has even no time for e takes f4. That's why I prefer knight b3 because, for example, after knight e2, black can consider take, and after g5 they have queen c5 check, and queen takes g5. So after knight b3, black cannot take because after g5 there is no queen c5 check, only move knight g8. But knight g8 it's terrible position after bishop takes f4. So after knight b3, I don't know what black can do. Knight c5 can be considered. Well, but it's extremely dangerous. Even white has this idea probably. g5, if knight takes e4, knight d5. Okay, maybe it doesn't work because queen c6, however. Knight is hanging. After knight takes c5, queen takes c5 is check. Hello, hello. Gamarjoba genatsvali. Okay, so knight c5 probably is the best, but after knight c5, well, at least white can calmly play queen e2, and as I explained it already, white is surely better here, at least if there are nothing better. But okay, also possible to take simply. Take with pawn, g5 is coming, white is clearly better. If take with queen, king h2, 1, and white is prepared for g5. E takes f4 is losing the piece here. Although even after simple bishop takes f4, white was better. So I not agree that e5 was so strong. But okay, they considered knight e2. Knight c5 now they are considering. And now knight g3 they are considering. Again, idea g5 probably possible. Knight takes e4, knight d5. I don't know is it strong or not, but we can check. So this knight d5, queen c6. Okay, maybe it's good for black. Because if knight ec3, knight takes c3, and after knight f6 check, black even can take. And this position is much better for. Okay, thanks for support my channel. Okay, so they are considering knight g3. Okay, so knight b3 is surely better. Knight b3 is strongest move here, and white is better. So knight e2, knight c5, knight g3 they are considering. E takes f4. Is possible. Bishop takes f4, knight fd7, something like this. Knight f5, knight e5, knight e3 they are considering. Okay, it's also possible. Bishop takes c6. Sorry. No. B takes c3 is possible. Sorry. Okay, after knight f6. Okay, maybe just king d8. I will not give queen. Yes, you are right. So b takes c3. I just forget that white can take this. Also, even this position. Just a moment. Okay, king d8 looks like stronger, but okay, even we can consider this just two pieces, but white has weak king. Okay, maybe white is better here, but yes, maybe you are right. Here it's not enough, but okay, king d8 is much stronger. That's true. So I always want to say thank you if somebody finds mistakes in my annotation. So because we are trying to understand chess better together. Thanks for another subscription. It's very pleasant if somebody support my channel. So knight c5, this variation, okay, looks like better for white because d5 square is weak. Yes, but also they are considering e takes f4. And this idea knight e5, and this position is playable. And also knight c5, knight g3, knight e6 is possible. This idea to play knight d4 after f5, but maybe white is better anyway. f5, g5 is coming. Okay, so e5 was recommendation. If knight f5, g6. But okay, so knight c5 according to the book was in accuracy. b5, a3, bishop b7, bishop f3, knight c5. queen e2, it is possible to understand chess. To understand everything in chess, impossible, for sure. But try to understand better, it's possible for everybody. And today is our new attempt to understand position, some of position in chess better. And I'm trying to help you with this process. So now e5. Book recommend to play knight fd7, but okay. After knight fd7, even knight d5. It's very standard idea. It's extremely unpleasant attacks. So e5 played. Maybe computer. Okay, maybe computer, but maybe. Okay. So e4, knight f5. According to Spassky, the best way for black is take on e4, f4. And after bishop takes f4, knight d7, fd7. But okay, anyway, this position looks like very bad for black. So g6, f takes e5, d takes e5, knight h6. So knight e6. Okay, knight g8 I consider it. Book doesn't consider other possibilities. Maybe there are other possibilities. White plan is more or less simple. g5, knight d5, somewhere is coming. White has strong initial. But after g5, black has bishop takes h6. So probably correct plan for white not play g5 immediately, but play bishop g2 and try to attack f7 square. So knight e6, bishop g2. And now, according to the book, knight f4 is very bad because after bishop takes f4, e takes f4, e5 is coming, and everything is bad for black. For example, knight d7, e6, bishop takes h6, e takes d8, king f8. They are considered. I don't know if it's possible. King takes d7 and king c8. Of course, extremely risky, but maybe not losing immediately. Okay, they are considering king f8. Bishop takes b7, queen takes b7, and queen e5, rook a d1. Yes, white is much better. Agree. So bishop g7. Yes, and rook takes f6. Rashid play. Bishop takes f6, knight d5. Very concrete play. And now if takes a knight, e takes d5 is coming. After knight d4, queen f2, white has many threats against f7 pawn, and on d6 also unpleasant threats. So very difficult for black to defend. this position, if it's possible. Well, they are considering queen b6 and g5. They are considering also. I don't know what is problem with simple bishop e3, because c3 is coming and d6 also threat, so looks like totally hopeless for black. So Tal played queen d8, and queen f2, so f7 pawn. Which program? Only chess base I'm using. Nothing more. Chess base, Twitch. And okay, so white attack is very strong and black has no good defense. A knight f4 played. According to the book, bishop takes d5 was the best, and after e takes d5, knight f4. Knight takes f7, well, knight takes f7. Okay, queen f2, bishop takes d5. So knight f4 played Tal, but knight f4, according to the book, is bad move. So the best was bishop d5 and knight f4 now. Tarrasch said that knight on the corner is always shame. So they're considering bishop takes f4, e takes f4, queen takes f4. Rook e1 is also possible, but if rook e1, king f8. After queen takes f4, rook a7. Idea to protect f7 pawn. And after g5, bishop takes g5, queen d2. Лутіков був гросмейстер, Анатолій Лутіков, гросмейстер. Queen f6, queen takes a7, bishop takes h6, rook f1, bishop f4. According to the book, approximately equal position. I don't know if it's possible to agree. Yes, queen b8. Okay, queen b8 doesn't work because bishop e5 is coming and then bishop b2. Okay, maybe still is better for white. Bishop f1 and then take on b5. Three passed pawns. Yes, it's dangerous situation. Okay, so queen takes f4. Let me think about it. So what white wants? If simply king g7, knight takes f7. King takes f7, g5, something. So this is idea of white, according to my understanding of chess. Because of this rook a7, they propose g5. Bishop takes g5 is logical. Queen d2, queen d4. Yes, still unpleasant endgame. Because Okay, so maybe let's come back. I need to think. So king g7, knight takes f7, g5 is threat. Yes, d pawn is strong, that's right. So rook a7. But maybe it's possible just check. If king h1, I have queen d4 maybe. Why not? Yes, I'm considering queen b6, queen d4. I don't see clear refute. Queen c7, rook a7. Yes, so situation is not clear. Okay, but rook e1, according to the book, is not the strongest, so they recommend queen takes f4, like the strongest move. And now queen b6 check. Rook a7, g5, they explain that, and this idea of the bishop g5, queen d4, same idea. So after queen takes a4, queen b6, they are considering king h1, long castle, they are considering. If queen d4, probably queen d6 is unpleasant. So they are considering long castle. And now, according to Nishmedinov, c3 is the best. Because knight takes f7, bishop takes b2. Black has contraplay. Rook f1, rook f8, queen b4, bishop g7. This, queen f2. And black is okay according to the book. Bishop h3. Bishop. Okay, so recommendation of Nishbedinov to play c3 now. With threat knight takes f7 and also with threat to play g5. And he continue rook h f8. It's not obvious. Maybe this is also possible, this idea, if g5, bishop e5. So position is very far from clear, in my opinion. Rook f8, rook f8 only considering Nishmedinov. Maybe rook e8 is stronger. but he is considering only rook f8, g5, bishop e7, bishop h3, king a7, king b7, knight takes f7. Rook takes d5, bishop g2 is idea, or probably queen a4 as well. So if king is bishop e6 and white is better. Okay, I can agree that white is better, but situation is not clear for me after rook e8. Become grandmaster. Okay, maybe not so important to think about titles, but if you want just improve your abilities in chess, improve your level, you have chance in any age. 33 years as old, you are a young man, or if you're woman, I don't know. For example, I start to play drafts in age 43. I mean, in tournaments. And, okay, I'm happy that I'm playing. Okay, I'm not grandmaster. Okay, my level is candidate of master more or less. But okay, now I am 53 and I don't think that I cannot improve my level in drafts. I don't know if it's realistic to become grandmaster. Well, but okay, at least I need to start to play again after pandemic and after finishing war and other things. I don't know when Tal realized that everything is bad, but okay, we can see that situation is still not so clear. But Tal played here knight f4, bishop takes f4 probably. Here was last moment to take on d5 and not lost immediately. But surely they are not considering all of options. For example, they are considering bishop takes d5, knight f4, this, and they are considering two moves. Queen takes f4 and rook e1. But why not queen c5, for example? Looks like promising idea. Okay, maybe nothing special, however. Rook c8, if rook e1, king d7. Maybe black can defend successfully, but it's far from... Okay, queen a7 check, for example. If rook c7, I will take on a6. If queen c7, I will take as well. But okay, bishop d4 is possible now, and then queen b6, black will exchange queens. And bishop h4 in which position? Bishop h4. Now bishop h4 d6. No, I think rook c8 is correct idea. D6 here. Yes, it's also, but d6, maybe queen takes d6 is possible. Maybe queen takes d6, this is problem. Because after bishop takes a8, bishop d4 is coming. If, for example, queen e1, king f8, this, king g7, and white has two pieces and hanging and cannot defend everything. So maybe queen takes f4 is the best, yes, but positions still unclear. Yes, Tal won against Lutikov several games, that's true, but in general score was in favor of Lutikov. After e5, After e5, so after e5 he have understood that he is losing. You mean this? After e5, yes. After e5, yes. After e5. Yes. But bishop h4 was possible. Yes, bishop h4. Yes, why not? If queen takes f4, bishop takes d5. If rook d1, queen g5. If queen c5, rook c8. Yes, still situation not clear. Queen c5, rook c8. Knight f6. Knight f6. Yes. Sorry. Knight f6 is possible. This is maybe correct idea, because if queen takes f6, just take, but... Okay, bishop takes g2. So... Probably rook e1 check, because if king takes g2, rook a7, white cannot win. Шахи в інтернеті дуже рідко, але от зіграю благодійний матч з Дудою 20 липня. Bishop h4, knight f6. So. Queen c5 and queen d6 is proposition. Doesn't look like dangerous for black. For example, even takes. Maybe just takes. White has no e1 square, so black can even take on c2. Okay, it's not convincing, but maybe rook e1 here it's possible after king d7. Now rook e7 check, king c6, and only now take on g2 with idea to take on f7. Still very complicated, however. Well, for example, rook e8 is possible. If rook f7, rook f8, who is better is a big question. Yes, bishop h4 was possible, that's right, and situation still not clear. Okay, let's come back a little bit. So, bishop g7. Knight d5 also possible. Okay, so white has many good ideas. So this. Play this. So what we are considering now, bishop h4, this line we are considering now. So in book they are not considering bishop h4. Bishop h4 he is considering. Queen d4, according to Nishmetdinov, is the best move. And maybe he is right, because e6 now is coming. And he considered rook f8, rook d1 with some kind of domination. So queen d4, recommendation of Nijmedinov here. After rook f8, rook d1. And now he considered bishop d5, rook c8, queen a7. And according to Rashid, white has good winning chances. And maybe he is right. Okay, so but Tal took on e5 and now it's more easy. Rook c8 after rook d1. Okay, let's check. Rook c8 e6 immediately. So rook f8, rook d1, rook c8. Maybe queen a7 is problem. Thanks for subscription. He is considering bishop takes d5, bishop takes d5, rook c7, rook c8, queen a7. But if rook c8 immediately, white can. What is problem with bishop g5? In which moment? Here, bishop g5. No, bishop takes h6 is not threat, so white has many ideas. Even h4 is possible to play. If bishop takes h4, queen takes f4. Maybe it's not the best, but it's possible. Yes, so promising position for white. So queen d4 was planned. Okay, but Tal took on e5. It looks like a bad decision because now rook e1. All white pieces in attack. f6. So bishop d5 was beautiful finish. Bishop e6, bishop c6 check. King f8 takes this. And very nice. It's not my variation, it's Nijmedinov variation from the book. But it's quite beautiful, in my opinion. So f6 played Tal, simply took, and queen d4. Bishop takes bishop takes d5, yes, rook, this, bishop c6. And queen d4, and bad news for black, because rook takes e6 is threatened. Yes, that's true. Black was playing with fire from the opening and was punished. That's right. So he played f6 and very nice piece sacrifice and queen d4. So at the moment white is rook down, but black cannot protect his bishop e5 and his king under mating attacks. This now also. For example, if rook d8, white can play rook d8 check. Nice win. Queen is hanging. If king g7, rook e7. King h6, queen f6. Game is over. So queen d8 played top. Nice finish. If king d6, knight f7, so king d6. And Tali resigned. Okay, so for today is enough. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for subscription and please support my match against young Krzysztof Duda with donation to help of Ukraine. So, good night. Thank you.